Episode 8. The Engineer and the Angel. The bounty hunters come fast through the narrow tunnel, and I'm already moving when the first one rounds the corner. The chip feeds me 13 lifetimes of combat experience in the microsecond before contact. I see the angle of his weapon, calculate his firing solution, and I'm somewhere else before he pulls the trigger. The monomolecular blade opens his throat. He goes down, gurgling. The second hunter is smarter. She hangs back, using her partner's dying body as cover, firing controlled bursts that force me deeper into the tunnel. Professional, corporate trained. She knows what she's doing. So do I. So do all of us. I let the chip guide me, not controlling, just suggesting, showing me patterns from a spy who spent 20 years infiltrating corporate facilities. I read her rhythm, 3-round bursts, 2-second pause to adjust aim, textbook suppression fire. On the third burst, I move, close the distance while she's adjusting. The blade finds the gap between her armor plates and she drops. 3 down, 2 to go. Except the last 2 aren't coming through the tunnel. They're smart enough to recognize a kill zone when they see one. Instead, I hear that high-pitched whine again, the heavy weapon charging up. They're gonna collapse the tunnel, bury me under tons of old Tokyo, rather than risk close quarters with someone who just killed 3 of their team in under a minute. Can't say I blame them. I run. The tunnel stretches ahead into darkness, and I'm following borrowed spatial awareness from someone who knew the Undercity's bones better than anyone. The chip shows me the layout, old memories of passages that haven't changed in decades. Behind me, the plasma weapon discharges. The sound is like reality tearing. Superheated air expands explosively, and the tunnel ceiling starts to collapse. I'm sprinting through falling concrete and rebar, lungs burning, body screaming protest at being pushed this hard this soon after integration. The chip compensates, floods my system with combat drugs, pushes my failing augments past their limits. I'm moving faster than I should be able to, faster than my damaged body has any right to move. Not fast enough. The ceiling comes down 20 meters behind me. Dust and debris fill the tunnel, choking visibility to nothing. I keep running blind, trusting the chip's spatial mapping, trusting memories that aren't mine. Then the floor drops out from under me. I'm falling through darkness, through a breach in the tunnel floor I didn't see and the chip didn't warn about. Impact comes hard, water thankfully, not concrete. Deep water, some kind of cistern or reservoir in the Undercity's guts. I surface gasping, orientating. The water is chemical tasting, probably toxic, definitely not somewhere you want to spend time. But above me, the tunnel I was running through is gone, collapsed completely. No pursuit coming that way. Small victories. I swim to the edge of the cistern, pull myself out onto a maintenance platform. My body is done. The combat drugs are wearing off, leaving nothing but accumulated damage and exhaustion. The integration took too much. The fight took more. I'm running on fumes and spite. The platform leads to another passage. I follow it because staying still means dying, and I'm not done yet. Not until the cabal burns. The passage opens into a larger space. Old pump station, judging by the rusted equipment, no power, no life, just another forgotten piece of infrastructure in a city built on layers of its own history. I collapse against the wall, trying to catch my breath, trying to assess damage. The shoulder wound from the Vance hit has reopened. New cuts from the tunnel collapse. Bruised ribs, maybe cracked. Neural feedback warnings from augments pushed past their tolerance. The integration was supposed to make me stronger. Right now, I just feel broken in new and interesting ways. The black chip pulses, not hungry, concerned, if silicon can feel concern. It's monitoring my vitals, running damage assessments, calculating survival probabilities. The numbers aren't good. I need medical attention, need rest, need time to let my body recover from being pushed too far, too fast. What I have is a 10 million credit bounty, a city full of hunters, and maybe an hour before my augments fail completely and the cryo-sickness finishes what the bounty hunter started. My neural link chimes. Incoming message, heavily encrypted. I almost ignore it. Anyone contacting me now is either trying to kill me or use me. Then I recognize the encryption pattern. Resistance protocols, the Friar's signature. I flag it open. Zyl, Deacon's voice, rough as gravel. Your vitals just fell off our monitoring network. Either you're dead or you disabled your beacon. Respond if you can. I subvocalize through my neural link, too exhausted to speak properly. Alive. Barely. Bounty hunters hit Chen's safe house. 5-man team. Professional grade. How many are still breathing? None of them. But they collapsed a tunnel on me, lost in the deep infrastructure. Sector 8, I think. Maybe 9. Hard to tell down here. Silence on the other end. Then, stay where you are. I'm coming to get you. Negative. Too dangerous. The bounty. I don't care about the bounty. You're worth more alive than those credits are to anyone. Send me your location, Beacon. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Deacon. That's not a request, Koban. Send the beacon. The connection drops. I sit in the darkness of the old pump station, trying to decide if trust is a luxury I can afford. Deacon works for the Friar. The Friar wants me alive long enough to broadcast the truth about the Cabal. That's tactical necessity, not friendship. But Deacon's voice had something else in it, something personal, like this matters to him beyond simple mission parameters. I activate my location beacon. 30 minutes. If he's coming to collect the bounty, at least I'll see it coming. If he's actually trying to help, well, that would be new. I close my eyes and let the chip monitor my vitals while I wait. The borrowed memories are quieter now, settled into my neural architecture like they've always been there. I can feel them when I reach for them. Combat expertise from a dozen different operators. Technical knowledge that would take a lifetime to accumulate. The last words and thoughts of people who died believing their consciousness would serve a greater purpose. They're all watching through my eyes now, waiting to see if their sacrifice meant anything. I hope I don't disappoint them. Deacon arrives in 27 minutes. I hear him before I see him. Heavy footsteps, precise movement, the sound of someone who knows exactly where they're going in the Undercity's maze. When he appears in the doorway of the pump station, he's carrying medical supplies and wearing an expression that might be concerned on someone with more mobile features. You look like hell, he says. You should see the other guys. I did. Pulled 3 bodies out of that tunnel before it finished collapsing. Professional contractors, good gear, proper training. You kill them with a knife and half a magazine. He sets down the medical kit. Impressive. Also stupid. You're still recovering from integration. Pushing yourself this hard, this soon, could have killed you. They didn't give me much choice. No, they wouldn't. He kneels beside me, starts assessing damage with practiced efficiency. Combat medic training, I recognize it. The same training I have, or had, before 13 years on ice scrambled everything. How'd they find Chen's safe house? No idea. Place was sealed, untouched since the purge. Either they got lucky, or someone solved the location. Or they've been monitoring for power signatures. That medical bed draws a lot of juice, enough to show up on deep scans if someone's looking. He injects me with something that burns going in. Pain suppressant and antibiotics. This is gonna hurt. He's not wrong. The next 10 minutes are a study in controlled agony as Deacon cleans wounds, seals cuts, stabilizes my ribs with medical foam. He works with the brutal efficiency of someone who's done this too many times in too many bad places. The fourth and fifth hunters I managed through gritted teeth. What happened to them? Ran when the tunnel collapsed. Probably figured you were dead or not worth the risk of excavation. They'll report back to whoever hired them that the target was lost but probably neutralized. He finishes with my shoulder, wraps it properly. That buys you maybe 12 hours before word spreads that you're still operational. Then they'll come again, heavier, smarter. So we move fast. He sits back, studying me with those cold, calculating eyes. This isn't my fight, Koban. I work for the Friar. My job was to test you with the Red Skulls, point you toward integration, give you the tools you need. You want to take on the Cabal, broadcast their secrets, burn the whole thing down. That's your choice. Your death. But the Friar thinks you might actually pull it off, and he's been at this longer than anyone. If he believes you're worth supporting, Deacon pulls out a flask, takes a long drink, offers it to me. I shake my head. But maybe it's time I told you why this matters. Why we've been waiting 7 years for someone like you. He settles against the opposite wall, and for the first time since I met him, he looks old, tired, like he's carrying a weight that even his augmented frame struggles to support. You know the Friar as the keeper of secrets. The man in the temple who preserved everything Tanaka died protecting. But that's not who he started as. That's just who he became after Mars. Mars? The colonies weren't always the corporate playground you see now. 40 years ago, they were Federation territory. Real government, real laws, corporations kept on a tight leash. Mars was the jewel, industrial center, manufacturing hub, home to 2 million people who actually believed in the United Colonial Federation's promises. His voice is bitter. Then the corporations decided laws were inconvenient. He takes another drink. The Friar, his real name is William Xavier, though no one's called him that in decades. He was a chief engineer on Mars. Designed infrastructure, life support systems, the tech that kept 2 million people breathing in a hostile environment. Smart, idealistic, believed technology could save humanity from itself. What happened? AstroTech happened. Sindustries happened. Phantasma happened. The big three decided Mars was too valuable to leave under Federation control. So they manufactured an incident. Labor dispute, they called it. Needed to restore order. The UCF military looked the other way. Probably bribed, definitely compromised. And corporate security forces moved in. Deacon's expression darkens. They didn't restore order. They took over. Seized the infrastructure, declared martial law, started restructuring the colony under corporate administration. Anyone who resisted disappeared. Anyone who protested ended up in labor camps. 2 million Federation citizens became corporate property overnight, crossed. And Xavier refused to comply. He controlled the life support systems, the infrastructure that kept Mars alive, told the corporations that if they wanted the colony, they'd have to pry it from his dead hands. Deacon's voice drops. So they did. He's quiet for a moment. When he continues, the words come slower, weighted with memory. I was there, corporate security contractor, working for S Industries, just following orders, just doing my job. We assaulted Xavier's position, central engineering station in Olympus Dome. 40 of us against 6 engineers who'd barricaded themselves inside and threatened to shut down life support if we breached. Did they? Never got the chance. We came in hard, overwhelming force, killed 5 of them in the first 30 seconds. Xavier was the last one standing. Fought like a cornered animal, killed 3 of my team with improvised weapons and desperation. But he was an engineer, not a soldier. We put him down, Deacon looks at his hands like they're stained with something he can still see. Except we didn't kill him. Not completely. Found out later he'd augmented himself, military-grade life support integration, the kind that keeps you breathing even when your body shouldn't. So we hauled him to a corporate black site, patched him up just enough to interrogate, tried to break him into giving up his access codes. What happened? He never broke. 6 months of interrogation, torture, every technique the corporations had, Xavier just kept refusing. Kept telling them they had no right, no authority, that what they'd done on Mars was illegal. A bitter smile crosses Deacon's face. Like legality mattered when you've got corporate armies and bought politicians. Then, how did he escape? He didn't. I let him out. Deacon meets my eyes. Took me 6 months of watching them try to break this stubborn old engineer before I realized something. Xavier was right. What we'd done on Mars wasn't order restoration, it was conquest. Corporate war dressed up as law enforcement, and I'd been part of it. He stands, paces the small space like the memories are too heavy to sit with. So, I did something stupid. Sabotaged the facility, caused an explosion, made it look like Xavier died in the chaos, smuggled him out in a body bag, gave him new identity papers, helped him disappear into the Undercity, figured that would be the end of it. My one good deed to balance the scales. But it wasn't. No. Xavier didn't disappear, he started rebuilding, gathering intelligence on corporate operations, documenting their crimes, creating networks to preserve the truth. He became the Friar, keeper of memories, guardian of secrets. And he needed protection. Someone who understood corporate tactics. Someone who'd seen what they were capable of. So you became Deacon. So I became Deacon, the Friar's muscle, his conscience made flesh. He returns to his position against the wall. That was 30 years ago. We've been doing this ever since. Preserving evidence, protecting witnesses, waiting for the right moment to expose what the corporations really are. Tanaka was supposed to be that moment. She had everything. Documentation, testimony, proof that would bring the whole system down. And they killed her before she could use it. Yes. Executed her on corporate television while the colonies watched. Made an example that kept people terrified for 7 years. But the Friar kept the data, kept waiting, kept believing someone would come along who could actually finish what Tanaka started. Deacon looks at me with something that might be hope. Then you crawl out of cryostasis with a parasite in your skull and a 10 million credit bounty on your head. And the Friar saw the same thing he saw in Tanaka. Someone too stubborn to quit. Someone who'd burn themselves out to make things right. Or someone desperate enough to be useful. Maybe both. But here's what matters, Koban. You asked why I'm helping you, why I'm risking exposure to pull your bleeding ass out of a collapsed tunnel. It's because 30 years ago, I did terrible things believing I was following orders. And every day since, I've been trying to make that mean something, trying to ensure Mars wasn't just another corporate victory that history forgets. He pulls out a data crystal, different from the ones the Friar gave me. This is the IRS Tower Assault Plan. Security layouts, shift rotations, access codes, everything you need to get in and broadcast the data bomb. It's a suicide mission. You'll probably die in the attempt. But if you succeed, if you actually get that broadcast out, the colonies will finally see what the Cabal really is, what they've been doing in the shadows for decades. And if I fail, then you're just another ghost and we wait for the next one. But the Friar doesn't think you'll fail, and after 30 years, I've learned to trust his judgment. Deacon stands, offers me his hand. So here's the deal. You've got about 4 hours until your augments stabilize enough for combat operations. We use that time to rest, plan, prepare, then we hit the IRS tower together. Not because you need me, but because I'm tired of watching good people die trying to fix what I helped break. I take his hand, let him pull me up. My body protests every movement, but the medical intervention is working. I'll be functional. Maybe not optimal, but functional enough. Together, then, 2 ghosts against the cabal. 2 ghosts and 13 others living in your head. I'd say the odds are almost fair. He retrieves his medical kit. Come on. There's a resistance safe house in Sector 7. Actually fortified this time. We'll stage from there, gear up, go over the assault plan. If we're gonna do this, we do it right. We move through the undercity tunnels in silence. Deacon leads, I follow, both of us alone with our thoughts and memories. His of Mars and corporate conquest, mine of Lyra and betrayal, all the weight of the past pressing down, driving us forward toward what's probably certain death. But maybe death with purpose. Maybe death that means something. The chip is quiet in my skull. The 13 others are waiting, watching. They died believing their sacrifice would matter, that their preserved consciousness would serve something greater than corporate interests. Time to prove them right. The safe house in Sector 7 is exactly what Deacon promised. Fortified, armed, actually defensible. It's carved into an old military bunker from the corporate wars, surrounded by kill zones and automated defenses that would make a frontal assault costly enough to discourage all but the most determined attackers. Inside, resistance fighters move with quiet efficiency, 10 of them, maybe 12, all carrying weapons, all watching me with expressions that mix hope and fear. They know who I am, know what I represent. The ghost of AstroTech past, carrying classified technology and a bounty that could fund their operations for years. But they don't try to collect. The Friar's word carries weight here. If he says I'm an asset, I'm an asset. If he says I'm critical to the mission, I'm untouchable. For now. Deacon leads me to a back room that's set up as a tactical center. Holographic displays show the IRS tower in 3 dimensions. 50 stories of reinforced steel and corporate security, sitting in the heart of Sector 2 like a monument to communication monopoly. The Intergalactic Radio Service is the colony's central communications hub. Deacon begins, manipulating the display to highlight key features. Every official broadcast, every emergency alert, every corporate announcement, it all flows through this tower. The cabal controls it completely. Board of directors is entirely corporate appointees. Security is joint venture between AstroTech and us industries. Getting in is hard, getting out is statistically impossible. What's the security profile? 3 layers. Outer perimeter is automated defenses. Turrets, sensors, drones. Standard corporate security protocol. Second layer is human guards. 2-man teams on patrol, total of 40 personnel across all floors. Elite training, full augmentation, loyal to the cabal through compensation or blackmail. And the third layer? Executive floor security. 20 guards minimum, sometimes more. These are the real threats. Corporate special forces, the kind they send when they need a problem erased. He zooms in on the top floor. Broadcast control is here. Hardened bunker, biometric access, enough security to stop a military assault. You'd need an army to breach it. Or one ghost with the right access codes. Or that. Deacon pulls up another display. The Friar has been cultivating an inside source for 3 years. Low-level technician, maintenance access, mostly invisible to security. He can get us to sub-level 3, the technical infrastructure. From there, we can access the broadcast systems through the maintenance network, bypass most of the security, get to the control room without fighting through 40 guards. Sounds too easy. It is, because the moment we start broadcasting unauthorized content, the entire security apparatus comes down on us. We'll have maybe 3 minutes from initiation to lockdown. 3 minutes to upload the data bomb, initialize the broadcast, and pray it reaches enough systems before they shut us down. And extraction? Deacon is quiet for a moment. There is no extraction. The broadcast goes out. We're trapped in a hardened facility with every corporate security asset in the sector converging on our position. Best case, we hold them off long enough for the broadcast to complete. Worst case, we die before it finishes and the whole operation is for nothing. You've got a real gift for motivation. I've got a gift for honesty. This is a suicide mission. I'm not pretending otherwise. He meets my eyes. But it's also the only option. The Cabal operates in darkness. Drag them into the light and they burn. That's worth dying for. That's worth everything. I study the holographic display. The tower, the security layers, the impossible odds. 3 weeks ago, I woke up in a world I didn't recognize, carrying memories I couldn't trust, running from a bounty I didn't understand. Now, I'm planning an assault on the most defended facility in the colonies, betting my life on the hope that truth matters more than corporate power. What's the timeline? Tomorrow night, 2200 hours. Security shift change gives us a 12-minute window where coverage overlaps and communications are degraded. It's not much, but it's the best opportunity we'll get. Deacon tills the display. Until then, you rest. Let your body finish stabilizing. Let the integration settle. You're going to need everything you've got and more. And you? I'll coordinate with the inside source, finalize equipment, make sure the data bomb is properly packaged for broadcast, and I'll say goodbye to the Friar, just in case this is the last time. He leaves me alone in the tactical center. I sit in the darkness, surrounded by holographic ghosts of the tower we're about to assault. My body aches. My augments throw intermittent errors. The chip pulses steadily in my skull, monitoring, calculating, keeping me functional through sheer stubborn computation. I think about Lyra, about Chen, about Tanaka, and everyone who died believing the resistance could change things. They're all gone. Ghosts and memories and dreams that ended in corporate firing squads or cold storage. But maybe that's the point. Maybe you don't fight the Cabal because you'll win. You fight because not fighting means accepting what they've made of the world. And I've spent enough time being corporate property, alive or dead, original or copy. Time to be something else. Time to be the weapon that turns against its makers. I close my eyes and let exhaustion take me. The chip keeps watch while I sleep, running diagnostics, optimizing systems, preparing for what comes next. The 13 others are quiet, waiting. They've died before. They know how this probably ends. But they're here anyway, preserved in silicon, waiting for one last fight. We all are. I wake 6 hours later to Deacon shaking my shoulder. Time to move. The inside source confirms the shift change window. We're on. My body feels marginally better. Still broken, still held together by medical intervention and spite, but functional. The integration has stabilized. The chip is fully synchronized with my neural architecture now, no longer foreign, but fundamental. I can feel the others when I reach for them. Combat expertise, technical knowledge, decades of experience compressed into accessible memory. I stand, test my mobility. Everything hurts, but everything moves. Close enough. The resistance fighters are geared up, checking weapons, running through final preparations with the quiet focus of people who know the odds. Deacon is at the center, coordinating, his presence a stabilizing force in the pre-mission chaos. He sees me and nods. Equipment is on the table, best we could source on short notice. I check the gear, kinetic rifle, suppressed, high-capacity magazines, the monomolecular blade, cleaned and sharpened. Combat skin, better grade than the last one, rated for military-level threats, mural scrambler grenades for dealing with augmented opponents, breaching charges, medical supplies. Everything I need to fight my way through a corporate fortress and probably die in the attempt. The data bomb? I ask. Deacon holds up a crystal. Black, unmarked, innocuous. Everything the Friar preserved. Every file Tanaka died protecting. Every piece of evidence that proves the Cabal exists and what they've done. The assassination, the clone programs, the corporate conquest of Federation territory, all of it. He hands it to me. This is compressed and encrypted. Once you upload it to the broadcast system, it'll take 90 seconds to decompress and initialize, then 3 minutes to propagate across every system in the colonies. After that, it's out. Can't be recalled, can't be suppressed. The truth, broadcast to 3 billion people simultaneously. I take the crystal. It's warm from his hand, heavy with implications. This small piece of tech represents 7 years of waiting. 30 years of the Friar documenting corporate crimes. Tanaka's final gift to anyone who came after. Everyone who died believing the resistance mattered. And if the broadcast doesn't complete? Then we failed, and the Cabal wins, and history forgets we tried. But that's not going to happen. Because you're going to get this to the broadcast control room, and you're going to initialize it, and you're going to hold that position until the upload completes. Deacon's voice is iron. That's the mission. Everything else is secondary. Even survival? Especially survival. You don't need to walk out of that tower. You just need to make sure the broadcast does. I slot the crystal into a secure pocket in my combat skin, feel its weight against my chest, right over my heart. Symbolic, maybe, or just practical equipment placement. The resistance fighters are ready. Deacon gives final orders, checks everyone's gear with the thoroughness of someone who's commanded troops through impossible situations. When he's satisfied, he turns to me. Koban, last chance to back out. We can find another way. Another time. You don't have to die tonight. Yes, I do, just not for the reasons you think. I check my rifle one final time. The original Zyl Koban died 13 years ago, believing he failed everyone. I'm just the copy, the echo. But echoes can be loud, can carry farther than the original sound. Maybe that's enough. It's more than enough. Deacon shoulders his own weapon, something heavy, military grade, the kind you use when subtlety is dead and you need to kill everything in a general direction. Alright, we move in 10 minutes. The inside source will have the sub-level access open. We go in quiet, stay quiet as long as possible. When they spot us, and they will spot us, we go loud and we don't stop until the broadcast is live or we're dead. Motivating. Honest. There's a difference. The 10 minutes pass in silence. Resistance fighters make their peace with gods or fate or whatever gives them comfort. Deacon checks his weapon again. Unnecessary, but the ritual matters. I stand apart, feeling the chip pulse in my skull, feeling the 13 others waiting just beneath consciousness. We're all ghosts here, dead in the ways that matter, walking and fighting on borrowed time, borrowed purpose, borrowed hope that maybe death can mean something. Then Deacon signals, and we move. The IRS tower sits in Sector 2 like a monument to corporate power. 50 stories of steel and glass and controlled information. We approach from the Undercity through maintenance tunnels that the inside source has marked safe. The resistance fighters move with professional quiet, weapons ready, every sense alert for signs of the ambush. But the path is clear. The inside source has done his job. We reach sub-level 3 without incident, emerging into a technical space filled with servers and cable runs and the humming infrastructure that keeps the tower's communications flowing. Deacon signals a halt, pulls up a schematic on his helmet display. Broadcast control is 12 floors up. We take the maintenance elevator here, bypass the main security checkpoints. Stay in the technical corridors as long as possible. when we're spotted, an alarm screams through the sublevel. Red lights flash, security protocols activate with mechanical precision. Now would be good, someone mutters. Deacon's voice is calm. They know we're here. Loud option it is. Move. We hit the elevator, pile in, Deacon overriding the controls with codes the inside source provided. The elevator starts rising, and I can hear security responding. Boots on metal, weapons charging, the entire tower's security apparatus converging on our position. Contact in 3, Deacon warns. 2, 1. The elevator doors open on sublevel 1, and we come out firing. Corporate security is waiting. 10 guards, full combat gear, positioned behind reinforced barriers, professional response to a known threat. They open fire immediately, concentrated volleys designed to suppress and eliminate. We return fire. The resistance fighters spread out, using the technical equipment as cover, laying down covering fire while Deacon and I push forward. My rifle is an extension of my will, each shot placed with borrowed expertise from a dozen previous hosts. The guards are good, we're better. Or more desperate. Sometimes there's no difference. The fight lasts 30 seconds. When it's done, 8 resistance fighters are still standing, 2 are down, and 10 corporate guards are dead or dying. We don't have time to check our wounded. Don't have time for anything except forward momentum. Maintenance stairs, Deacon orders. 12 floors. Move fast. We hit the stairwell and start climbing. Behind us, I hear more security responding. Ahead, more alarms. The tower knows it's compromised. They're locking down, mobilizing everything they have, preparing to crush us with overwhelming force. We just need to stay ahead of them for 3 more minutes. 2 resistance fighters stay behind at floor 4, setting up an ambush position to slow pursuit. Noble, necessary, probably fatal. They know it and do it anyway. Floor 7. More resistance fighters peel off, establishing another delaying position. We're hemorrhaging people, leaving a trail of the desperate and doomed to buy seconds we might not even need. Floor 10. Deacon and I are alone now. Just 2 ghosts climbing stairs, racing against time and corporate violence. My body is screaming. The combat drugs are wearing off. The chip is overclocking my augments just to keep me moving. I'm burning out. Not yet. Not until the broadcast goes live. Floor 12. The broadcast control level. We breach the stairwell door, and I'm immediately rolling left as gunfire tears through the space where I was standing. 20 guards, just like Deacon said. Elite corporate security, the real threats. Deacon goes right, that heavy weapon of his roaring, putting down suppressing fire that gives me room to move. I'm flowing through their formation, using the borrowed combat expertise of 13 dead people, exploiting every weakness in that corporate training. The monomolecular blade finds throats and eye sockets. My rifle takes down anyone beyond blade range. Deacon is a force of nature, that heavy weapon chewing through cover and armor with equal efficiency. We're a 2-man army, and for 30 seconds, we're winning. Then Deacon goes down. Not dead. Not yet. But hit, multiple rounds punching through his armor, and even his augmented frame has limits. He drops behind cover, trying to stem bleeding, trying to stay in the fight. Go, he shouts over the gunfire. Get to the control room. I'll hold them. Deacon. That's an order. Finish the mission. I go. Leave him bleeding behind cover, fighting a delaying action against guards who'll overwhelm his position in seconds. Leave him because the mission matters more than any of us. Because the broadcast has to go live. Because 30 years ago, he helped corporations conquer Mars, and he's been trying to make that mean something ever since. This is how he makes it mean something. The broadcast control room is a hardened bunker at the center of the floor. Biometric locks, reinforced door, designed to be impregnable. At plant breaching charges, take cover, and blow it. The explosion is precise, focused. The door becomes shrapnel, and I'm through the breach before the smoke clears. Inside, 3 technicians and 2 security guards. The guards are fast, professional, bringing weapons to bear. I'm faster. The rifle coughs twice, and they drop. The technicians freeze. Hands up, terrified. The broadcast system, I say. Activate it, now. The lead technician is shaking. I can't. It requires executive authorization. Biometric verification. I put the rifle against his head. You have 3 seconds to find another way. He finds another way. Hands flying over holographic controls, bypassing security protocols, opening access to the broadcast system. The neural interface activates, and I can feel it through my implants. Every communication system in the colonies, all waiting for content. I pull out the data crystal, the one containing everything. Slide it into the upload port. Initialize broadcast, I order. The technician complies. On the display, I see the compression sequence start. 90 seconds to decompress, then 3 minutes to propagate, then every screen in 3 colonial systems will show the truth about the Cabal, about Mars, about the assassination, about everything. Behind me, gunfire intensifies. Deacon's position being overrun, more security flooding the floor. They know what we're doing. They're coming to stop it. They're too late. Broadcast initialized, the technician says, voice shaking. Upload beginning in 30 seconds. I level the rifle at the control console. Don't touch anything. Don't try to stop it. Just sit there and let it happen. Outside the control room, I hear them coming. Not guards anymore. Something heavier, mechanized. The sound of servos and hydraulics and weapon systems that cost more than most operators earn in a lifetime. The chip identifies it immediately. Heavy combat mech, military grade, the kind they deploy when they need to end a situation with extreme prejudice. Perfect. I step out of the control room, leaving the technicians huddled inside. The broadcast is uploaded. 3 minutes and it's done. 3 minutes and the entire Cabal operation burns. I just need to buy 3 minutes. The mech rounds the corner, 3 meters tall, armed with enough firepower to level a building, piloted by someone who's probably very good at their job. It sees me and the weapon systems spin up. I smile. Can't help it. This is suicide. This is impossible. This is exactly what I need. The chip floods my system with combat drugs one last time. The 13 others surface, offering expertise, showing me weak points, giving me one chance in a million. I take it. The mech opens fire, and I'm already moving, using the pillars and equipment for cover, getting inside its firing arc. My rifle is useless against that armor. The blade might find a weak point if I get close enough, if I survive long enough. Big ifs. I throw a neural scrambler grenade. It detonates near the mech sensor array, disrupting its targeting systems for 3 seconds. I use those seconds to close distance, to get under its guard, to drive the monomolecular blade into the joint where armor plates meet. The blade punches through. I feel it bite into hydraulics, into control systems, into the vulnerable machinery that keeps the mech mobile. It staggers, compensating, trying to shake me off. I hold on, drive the blade deeper, twist it, wreck everything I can reach. The mech's arm comes around, trying to swat me away. I see it coming, too slow, already committed, and I let go, drop, roll away as the mechanical fist impacts where I was standing hard enough to crater concrete. But the damage is done. The mech's right leg is compromised. It moves with a limp now, compensating for failed hydraulics. Not enough. It's still functional, still deadly, still gonna kill me if I don't find another angle. The chip shows me the angle. Fuel cells. Every heavy mech runs on high-density power cells located in the torso. Hardened, shielded, protected, but accessible through the maintenance panel if you can get to it. If you're willing to die trying. I charge. The mech fires, rounds chewing up the floor around me, and I'm running through the storm because stopping means death, and I'm not done yet. 3 meters, 2 meters, 1. I leap, catch hold of the mech's armor, climb up its frame while it tries to shake me loose. My hands find the maintenance panel, reinforced, locked. I plant a breaching charge, the last one I have, set for contact detonation. The explosion tears the panel away, exposes the fuel cells beneath, hardened against external attack but vulnerable to direct contact. I drive the monomolecular blade into the power core. The mech's reactor destabilizes immediately. Alarms scream. The pilot is ejecting, smart, professional, recognizing a losing scenario, and I'm diving away as the power cells go critical. The explosion picks me up and throws me across the floor like a child's toy. I hit a wall hard enough to break something else, added to the list of damage I can't afford. My vision tunnels. My augments are screaming failure warnings. The chip is running out of tricks to keep me conscious. But through the smoke and debris, I hear it. The broadcast system, its mechanical voice calm and professional. Upload complete. Propagation initiated. Time to full distribution. 2 minutes, 40 seconds. We did it. The data bomb is live, spreading across every system in the colonies. In less than 3 minutes, 3 billion people will see the truth about the Cabal, about everything. I try to stand. My body refuses. Too much damage, too many systems failing. The cryo-sickness is surging, fighting the chemical cocktails, winning the war for my failing nervous system. Doesn't matter. The mission is complete. The broadcast will finish whether I'm conscious or not. I let myself collapse back against the wall, close my eyes. The chip is quiet in my skull. The 13 others are quiet too. We did what they preserved themselves for. Made their deaths mean something. Good enough. Consciousness returns in fragments. Pain first. Comprehensive, encompassing, the kind that suggests extensive damage and inadequate medical intervention. Then awareness of movement. I'm being carried, rough handling, voices around me speaking in urgent tones. Still alive, barely. Can't believe he took down a mech. Broadcast went live, every system. They can't suppress it. I force my eyes open. Deacon is carrying me, his own armor torn and blood-stained. He's alive. Somehow, impossibly, he's alive. Stay still, he orders when he sees I'm conscious. You're a mess. Multiple fractures, internal bleeding, augment failure. Only reason you're not dead is that chip in your head refusing to give up. Broadcast? Completed. Full propagation. It's done, Koban. You did it. The whole colony's just learned what the Cabal really is. Every screen, every feed, every system, they can't hide anymore. Around us, I hear chaos. Not just the tower, the city, alarms, panic, the sound of a world learning its government has been a lie. Extraction? I manage. Working on it. But we've got a problem. The Cabal didn't just send tower security, they sent everyone. Corporate forces are flooding the Undercity, military assets, the works. They know the broadcast came from resistance sources. They're burning everything to find us. Then leave me. Get out while you can. Not a chance. Deacon's voice is iron. I spent 30 years trying to make Mars mean something. You just gave me that chance. I'm not leaving you behind to let the Cabal have the satisfaction. We're in the maintenance corridors now, moving fast. Other resistance fighters around us providing security. Behind us are here fighting. The tower's security forces pursuing, trying to contain the breach. Too late for that. The broadcast is live. The truth is out. All the corporate security in colonies can't put that back in the bottle. We hit the sub-level entrance, the same maintenance tunnels we used to infiltrate. But between us and safety, there's a problem. 20 corporate security forces have blocked the exit. Professional deployment, heavy weapons, looking for blood. Deacon sets me down behind cover. Can you fight? I check my body. It responds sluggishly, protests every command. The chip is keeping me conscious, but barely. Define fight. Good enough. He passes me a weapon, the rifle, salvaged from somewhere. We break through, or we die here. Your choice. I take the rifle. Check the magazine. Half full. Enough for one last fight. Always one more fight. Let's break through. Deacon signals the resistance fighters. On 3. Concentrated fire. Push through the center. Don't stop. Don't look back. Anyone who can't keep up dies here. Understood? Grin nods. They know the odds. Know this is probably where it ends for most of them. But they're here anyway. Because the broadcast went live. Because we proved the resistance isn't dead. Just waiting for the right moment to burn. 3, Deacon says. We charge. The security forces open fire immediately. Concentrated volleys that cut down resistance fighters like wheat before a scythe. But we don't stop. Can't stop. We push through the fire, returning it, trading lives for meters of ground. The chip is guiding my shots, compensating for failing augments, making every round count. Beside me, Deacon is a force of nature, that heavy weapon of his roaring defiance at corporate authority. We break through. Not all of us. Maybe half. But enough. We're in the maintenance tunnels, running through the darkness, leaving the tower and its defenders behind. Behind us, the fighting intensifies. More security flooding in. The entire corporate response apparatus coming down on the resistance. But we're already gone. Ghosts disappearing into the Undercity's bones. We run for what feels like hours, through tunnels and passages and spaces that don't officially exist. The resistance fighters peel off at safe points, scattering to different safe houses, making themselves harder to track. Eventually, it's just Deacon and me, 2 ghosts fleeing through darkness. We emerge in Sector 12, deep Undercity, near the Friar's temple. Deacon finally lets us stop, both of us collapsing against a wall, breathing hard. We did it, he says between gasps. Actually did it. The broadcast is out. The cabal is exposed. Everything changes now. Or nothing changes. I manage. People see the truth. Then they decide if they care more about truth or comfort. Cynical. Realistic. He pulls out a medical kit, starts working on my worst injuries. Field medicine, keeping me alive minute by minute. The Friar will want to see you, confirm the mission success, plan next steps. Next steps? I can barely stand. Then we carry you. Because this isn't over, Koban. The broadcast was the first move. Now the Cabal responds. They'll come for us with everything they have. Military forces, corporate security, every asset they can mobilize. The Undercity is about to become a war zone. As if on cue, we hear it. Distant but getting closer. The sound of heavy transports, military vehicles, an army descending into the Undercity, hunting for the resistance cells that just exposed their master's crimes. Deacon helps me stand. We need to move. Get to the temple. The Friar will know what to do. We start moving through the tunnels, but even through the pain and exhaustion, I feel it. The chip, the 13 others. They're quiet now, satisfied. We did what they preserved themselves for. But Deacon is right. This isn't over. The broadcast was the opening move. Now comes the real war. The cabal against everyone who knows the truth. Corporate power against people who refuse to forget. I don't know if we can win. Don't know if survival is even possible. But for the first time since waking from cryo, I'm not just surviving. I'm fighting for something, alongside people who matter. Making the deaths of everyone who came before mean something. Good enough. The sound of the approaching army gets louder. Closer. The Undercity is about to burn. But so is the Cabal. And that fire starts with the truth we just broadcast. Let them come. We'll be ready. End of episode 8.